Okay, so we are back from the holiday of Shavuot. I hope everyone had a great time and got a lot of amazing spiritual energy to unpack throughout the year. Shavuot is a time to dedicate oneself and commit oneself to learning more Torah. And so may we use this commitment and bring it to full fruition, so that we can acquire a lot more wisdom and understand what it is our mission in life. So anyway, today we're reading a letter that was written in the year of 5746, the Jewish year, and the person who wrote the letter had questions about questions and issues, doubts about their commitment to Jewish life and what they should do about it. And the Rebbe answers as following: greeting and blessings. It is a long time, several years, since I heard from you. Usually I interpret the absence of a correspondence as no news is good news. Regrettably, however, rumors have reached me that insofar as Jewish life is concerned, there is much to be desired. While I hope that they are exaggerated, it is too serious a matter to ignore, especially as it concerns a thinking person, married and head of family. So the Rebbe is writing a letter to someone who they heard was maybe pulling away from Jewish life, their commitment to it and doing mitzvot, and so he wrote back to this person, or maybe on his own took the initiative to write to him, just to show you the depth of compassion and love that the Rebbe had for all Jews, that running such a huge operation, he still went and thought about people wherever they are, about, oh wow, I haven't heard from this person, I should probably write to them and see if I can give him some strength, to give him some advice to help lift them up. So this is what happened in this situation. So the Rebbe continues: in view of our past relationship, even though our correspondence has been interrupted, I take the liberty, though it is my duty as a friend, to express my hope, and if necessary also my urgent appeal to you to reaffirm your commitment to the Torah way in the everyday life and conduct. And even if there is some basis to the said rumors, surely you know that every person has the ability of turning over a new leaf, and the Torah gives the assurance that nothing stands in the way of tshuva. So the Rebbe reinforces one of the most important fundamental concepts of Torah, which is that you can change things at any time, and that the easiest mitzvah in the entire Torah is actually tshuva, returning to God. And nothing stands in the way of that, no matter what the obstacles, because if you have the will, God will certainly join it with action to help you reach whatever goal you have, especially when it is a goal of going higher and higher towards a commitment to a Jewish life and to having a relationship with God. So the Rebbe continues: it is possible, if indeed there is some basis to the said rumors, so these are rumors that he heard about this person, that it is due to being distracted by some questions or doubts regarding some mitzvot. And this is something that happens to all of us, that we start questioning things. Maybe I'm going too far. Maybe I shouldn't do these. This mitzvah here is really not applicable to me. Maybe keeping kosher is not such a big deal. I can go to vegan restaurants and I'll be fine. Maybe wearing a kippah is not a big deal. I still believe in God, whatever it is. Or maybe the Shabbat is not a big deal. Anyway, so the Rebbe continues: but this should be no reason to weaken one's commitment to the Torah way, meaning that if you have questions, it's okay, but still don't stop your commitment to what you're doing. Keep doing it even while you have the questions. So the Rebbe continues: for as it has often been pointed out, it is not surprising that a created human being whose faculties are necessarily limited by virtue of being a finite being does not fully understand the infinite wisdom of God. In due course, as one gains more knowledge and insight in Torah, one finds that earlier doubts and questions fall by the wayside. It thus becomes a matter of deciding now whether it is prudent to give up the way of the Torah until you get clarification on all these doubts, or if you should perform the mitzvot on the authority of those who have long clarified them through lifelong dedication to the Torah study and Torah observance. So the Rebbe is basically giving you two choices. He's saying, yes, on one hand, maybe you can stop doing what you're doing, all these, all your, all the daily rituals you do in terms of observing Jewish life until you get answers, or instead, maybe you should just keep going on doing them and just trust that all the people that have come, before you, who have, all the sages of the Torah from Moshe Rabbeinu all the way down, and who have, all the books of the Torah that explain all these things, maybe trust that because they have such great wisdom, that those questions you have are probably not really valid questions, and that basically the framework that God has given to us should be trusted as being the best and most healthy one for a Jewish soul, and that you shouldn't question it. Because obviously you know which path the Rebbe prefers, which is to just keep going forward and not stopping doing anything, even if you have a doubt. So the Rebbe continues, on weighing the pros and cons of the above, plain reason surely dictates the sensible choice. For if worse comes to worse, one does not resolve, and one does not resolve one's doubts, not because they are not solvable, but because the particular individual has, for one reason or another, failed to discover the answers, one will have subjected himself to some minor inconveniences or deprived himself of certain indulgences. The Rebbe says that what's the worst that can happen is that you didn't get all your answers, and that you still are putting on your tefillin during the day, and you're not, maybe you're not doing certain things on the Sabbath that you normally would like to do. Okay, but that's a minor inconvenience. However, should he eventually discover, as he is likely to, that his questions and doubts were without real foundation, he will not forgive himself for having so recklessly deprived himself of the eternal values during each and every day when he allowed himself to be distracted from the truth. So he's saying, if you decide to do the opposite, and basically while you have all these questions and doubts, just stop doing those things that you have questions about, imagine if later you realize your mistake, all those days that could have been filled with learning Torah and having closeness to God that are now gone. Look how much you've lost because of these questions that you had that were really due to you not having the knowledge to get those answers. Clearly, it's far better to try to find someone who's more learned than you, who has, could potentially give you the answers, but not stop doing what you're doing. Because the whole idea is, as a Jew, we should always add and grow in spiritual growth, that we should continue to add in it. We should not allow doubts and distractions to come in the way of that. Whether they come from you or from society, from other people. Of course, some people might still argue, so the Rebbe continues, of course, some people might still argue that there are many Jews who have neglected commitment to Torah and mitzvot for the same or similar reasons. So some people say, well, so-and-so does it too, and he seems to be happy. But here again, common sense dictates that this argument has no validity, especially in this day and age, when, sad to say, many people conduct themselves in a manner that is contrary not only to Torah, but contrary to basic human principles. Or to put it more bluntly, contrary not only to the first part of the Ten Commandments, but also to the second part. The second part talks that you shall not murder, and so on. So the Rebbe is saying that don't look at around you at examples of other people who are not living the Torah way to justify that, hey, I don't need to do it, because nowadays there's such a decline in values in society that you can't use the examples of others to even say anything about whether or not you should observe Torah or not, because there's so many confused, upside down values nowadays being promoted in the media, on social media, etc., that it's completely confused, and not only contrary to Torah, but contrary to just basic human values. Some of the values that are being pushed now are, they're just obscene. So don't use the excuses of, well, all my friends do it, so why can't I? So anyway, finally, a further point: from personal knowledge and contact with persons in similar situations, I can assure you that when a Jew makes a firm commitment to do the right thing, he or she finds it much easier to carry out than at first imagined, especially since there is the assurance of Torah that, in quotes, whoever is determined to purify himself receives help from on high. So the Rebbe here is quoting a very important concept, which is the idea that when you make a commitment to purify yourself, to elevate yourself, to have a relationship with God, to have Torah-based values in your life, then you will get all the help from God to assist you to go on this path and stay on it. And also, He will get you the answers to all those questions that you have. So the last sentence he concludes, particularly in your case, having the merit of Torah and mitzvot in the past, as I knew you during the period when we maintain a personal relationship. So the Rebbe says that basically nothing is lost. Even if you stop doing certain things, once you take it back on, all the things that you did in the past, those merits of all these mitzvahs and Torah that you kept, they're all going to be right back at you. So with heartful wishes for good luck and good tidings, signed by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And so this is the letter of the day. And thank you for joining. And may we all just forge ahead and not allow any questions or doubts stop us from going on the path, because the Torah is the infinite truth. It's the emet. And this is when you believe that and know that it's not fabricated by a human being, that it's coming from the Creator Himself, you can trust that everything in it is 100% good for you and should be done without a doubt. And in short time, you'll get the answers to all your questions. But you have to do things. You have to act first and then ask questions later. That's the message.